Hey, it's Anthony Meisner with Land Title. Wanted to bring you your Greater Metro Denver update for the month of July, and there's a lot going on here. So let me just break it down for you, because the one thing that we're seasonally doing that we shouldn't be seasonally doing is we're losing inventory off the market. And the big thing that we're dealing with is a traditional seasonal market in the month of July should have increasing inventory. Doesn't really matter if it's a up market or down market, but you know what's causing this is the decrease in the amount of new listings that are coming to market. So we are down basically 30%. So let's take a look at this. Look at this. 30% year over year drop in inventory from last year to this year. We had a hugely increasing market last year because buyers stopped coming to market. Well, what happens when buyers stop coming to market and then sellers react and then interest rates are high, so you can't afford to move to a new place? You get 2,900 units of, or I'm sorry, 5,900 units of inventory on the market instead of 8,300 units on the market. And it's not the same all over the market, right? So if you look down in the bottom table, in the bottom corner there, you can see that places like Denver are only down about 17% in inventory, but certain places like Douglas or Broomfield County, 50% drop in inventory, even though there's not a lot of buyers out there shopping. So this is kind of a market we don't traditionally see in Colorado, and it's a little bit of an anomaly right now. So that's the biggest takeaway. But what does that mean? It means month supply of inventory is dropping. So we have seen a dip in the market for the month of July. Expect August to be just a little bit better probably, but 1.67 months of inventory is a strong seller's market. The only problem is you might have to be a little patient because buyers also are kind of taking their time. But you shouldn't have to be that patient, because when you get into it a little bit more, you can really see here by days in MLS. The average days in MLS is 23 and a half days. I mean, it's not that, ridiculous, right? We're talking 3 weeks. A lot of the markets are 4 weeks. You get into a market like Arapahoe County, it might be closer to 2 weeks. But basically, things are flowing. They're just flowing very slowly. It's like somebody really just turned off the water, right? So there's slow inflow, slow outflow of units of inventory because of this reduced position we're in, which we really haven't seen since about the 70s, which is pretty wild. All right, so let's talk a little bit about price point. And I think the one thing you want to talk about with price point is what's going on in the different segments in the market. So 3+ million. People see Colorado as a really good place to park money, right? It's very safe, it's very stable. So people are coming in with cash. They're still buying ultra luxury. They're just parking money in Colorado. Now, what does that mean for them? It means for the rest of us that the ultra luxury is doing great. 22 units is the same as we had last year at this time. So good sales, but people are seeing those dollar signs, and people are going out there and listing properties maybe a little bit too high in the ultra luxury at the high end, just to see if they can get them, and if not, they're probably comfortable sticking where they're at. Now, if you're in that, let's just call it 800 to a million, or even 600 to a million range, we're seeing increase in inventory rising. You're seeing a slowdown in the total number of sales, and it's just, it's tight, it's tough. If you get into the lower parts of the market, we're still in this hyper low competitive inventory environment. So think under 500,000 or under 600,000. I mean, basically everything that comes on the market under 500,000 sells every month. So you have bidding wars, you have competitive offers, but it's just not nearly as insane as it was. So take a look at this. This is our month supply of inventory in days on market by price range. Under that 600,000 range, it's ultra competitive. Really, under a million, it's really ultra competitive, right? It's a seller's market. People are out there shopping, bidding wars, the whole bit. You get into the 1 to 2 million range. You got 3 months of inventory. It's nearing balance, but it's still moving in 32 days. So the market pace is still very, very rapid. But you get up into that 2+ million market, it gets balanced, or even at 3+ million turns into a buyer's market. This could be a really good trade-up potential and trade-up opportunity for your clients. So that all being said, use some of these as your talking points with your clients as you get through this, right? If you need local market data, bug me about the local market data, and I'm happy to get that to you. All right, so take a look at this. This is our sold analysis, and you can see that we've only seen a 15%, 14% drop in sales in July from this time last year. That was really where we started to see the slowdown in June and July. So this is not so bad. Year over year, our sales are slowing, but they're staying stable. It's just a dramatically reduced time. So think, 2011, 2012, back, after the recession, we're just into a slower market. It's difficult to purchase, right? Back then, we had a lot of buyers, but a ton of listings, and people just were a little nervous about what's going on. Well, people are nervous about what's going on again. It's our job to give them some good information to make good decisions, because this is an awesome time to buy real estate. Now, look at this. Average sold price. We went through a roller coaster of a year, right? We chased prices down for 8 months, we chased prices up in the springtime like we do every year, and here they are kind of leveling out again. Month over month, they may have gone down, but year over year, we're about flat from this time last year. That's a really good sign to see things really start to stabilize in the marketplace, which is exactly what the Fed wants to see. So, stabilizing environment, really positive signs in Colorado, right? People love it here, you know that. So, real estate's never a bad investment. Look at the history of this data. You couldn't have picked a bad time to buy real estate. You can pick a bad time to sell it maybe, but you definitely couldn't have picked a bad time to buy it in the last decade. So take a look at this one. This is our sold units. It's really similar to the slide I showed you a second ago, but this one shows you kind of last year versus this year. It's really easy to digest, really easy to read. It's just a reduced amount of sales. Year to date, almost 20% drop in total amount of sales, largely due to just a lack of demand in the marketplace. But we came off one of the busiest years in real estate we'd ever had. So that being said, I think things are finally feeling more normal. I mean, whatever normal is, but this is a more normalized market, right? Seasonality looks pretty normal. We're feeling that. Now we get into the percentage sold price to list price. So this means everything else that's going on. How does it feel for a buyer, or how does it feel for a seller, right? It feels like if you go out in 23 days and you find a house you like, you put an offer in, you're probably paying close to asking price. And if you're in the lower price points, under 800,000, you're probably paying above asking price or at asking price. But the big thing this doesn't tell you is that about 39% of all buyers out there, or all sellers out there in the marketplace, are giving concessions, right? So the sellers are giving concessions because the buyers need them to help bring that interest rate down and make these payments just a little more palatable. That being said, it's still a really good seller's market. You just got to know what you're getting into. Now, the higher end of the market should be getting a little bit more, bargaining and a little bit back and forth, and you might be paying a little bit less than asking price. And I think if you get into some of that stale inventory, the stuff that's been sitting there a while, people are pretty motivated. You could probably get it for 95% or even 91% we're seeing in some counties for that ultra luxury or the higher end, 1 to 2 million range. So go out there, start looking at stuff. If you're a buyer right now, don't let these higher interest rates steer you away from purchasing a home. I think this is a really good time to do that. If you're working with your sellers, make sure they understand it's a seller's market at almost all markets. This is really a good time to buy or sell a house. So I'm Anthony at Land Title. If you have any other questions, concerns, reach out to me. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the videos. We'll see you next time.